So what is Amazon Redshift? It is again a web service that is fully managed by Amazon Web Services that can hold or handle or manage tons and tons of data. Could be petabytes. Petabytes is a step above terabytes. And then process them in a group of machines, which we call it as cluster here. Each cluster has its own Redshift engine, or can be called as one or more databases. So we will be using this in production systems, primarily when you have lots of data to access. Today what we will do is create a Redshift cluster, give respective roles to S3, because we have to pull the information from S3, because Amazon has given sample data which is in some S3 account, which you don't know where that is, but it's in the documentation. It's located somewhere. Just for lab purposes we can access that, and to dump that information into our S3 we need to give roles and permissions. We'll do that, and then we'll see how we can query the Redshift using external systems. So what is Redshift? Redshift is used for processing humongous amount of data that regular systems cannot do it. It also provides fault tolerance, disaster recovery. Just in case one of those availability zone goes down, you will have other systems in place in a different geographical location if you want, or in a different available zone. And you might be thinking of big data in that case. Yes, it is a concept of big data where you're managing petabytes and petabytes of information and connecting to the cloud to gather and fetch that information. So let's go ahead and create a cluster here. Cluster is nothing but a group of databases. So we call it as cluster management here. Let's give it a name. The name that we want to give it is, what do you want to give? Red Shift DB, like that. Database name, prod. Okay. Port number is 5439 by default. If you want to change it, you can change it later on. Give that something name, the password, confirm that. There are certain prerequisites that you gotta fill up. Make sure that your password falls into these requirements, and continue. Now, node type is DC1 large. There is no T1 micro or T2 micro here. Okay, you gotta select the lowest one, which is DC1 large. That's the only option that you got. So as you'll select that, CPU, it says with DC1 large you get 7 EC2 compute hosts and 2 virtual cores per node. The RAM that's being assigned to it is 15 gigs. Storage is 160 GB. That's coming with this one. So if I change it to extra large, the values have changed, as you see. The values in your bill will also change accordingly. It's directly proportional. You want, yeah? Okay. Let's go and select multi-node here and create, let's say, 2 nodes that you want to do. The maximum number of nodes that you can have in this cluster is 32. Minimum is 2. That's what we're going to have. Okay. So that's creating it. Okay. So one step done, second step here, third step here, where you're setting up additional configuration. In which VPC do you want to set that up? By the way, we'll set that up as default, but encryption, do you want to set it up as KMS, which is key management system? What is a key? A key is a certificate. Like the PEM file that you're downloading is a key. Private file, public, private key and a public key. So when you find time, go ahead and research about, do I have the document open? No? No? Okay. It's a document. Here's some thought about asymmetric encryption and it's called asymmetric encryption and symmetric encryption. What are public keys and private keys? Talking more about security, also talk about what is confidentiality, integrity of data, and availability of data. It's also called as CIA triad. Also do something on their availability. Certain terms like disaster recovery, what is high availability, yeah, and disaster recovery, high availability, fault tolerance, such things. Did we talk about intrusion detection and all that? Yeah, no. So also know about IDS and IPS systems. Inside that you will have HIDS, host intrusion detection systems, and host intrusion prevention systems. Then you have network intrusion detection systems and network intrusion prevention systems. What are the differences between them? You also know about bash and host. That's good, but I'm not sure if we worked on DMZ, but look at what a DMZ is. Did we see DMZ? No. Take a look at what is DMZ, also called as demilitarized zone. I recall, I think we did this. But anyways, put that in the notes. That's a lot, yeah? Okay. Okay. So, Saturday and Sunday, 2 days, got a lot of work. Okay. So in which, yeah, KMS is key management system. So if you like to manage your public keys and public keys in with Amazon, you can do that. If you don't want to encrypt your database, you can select that. HSM is hardware-based security modules. So you will not have hardware module, so you can also do HSM and TSM. Yeah, TSM, there's something called as a chip that is there on your machine. It's called what's it called? There's a chip, security chip. Nobody knows. There's a security chip that is there on the motherboard that will store credentials.
Is it CMOS?
CMOS, that's good. CMOS is common metal oxide semiconductor that will host the BIOS information or the firmware. But that's not it. There's another chip that has come up that will store the keys. So every time you restart your laptop, it asks for a password even before the booting starts. So it doesn't let you boot the password, boot without the password. So if somebody steals your laptop, they take the hard drive and put it in a different computer, it's not going to boot. So you're losing the laptop but not the data. That's the concept behind it. Chip set TKIP, no. One is hardware security module, another is hardware security module, another is versus TPM chip, yeah, TPM, TPM stands for Trusted Platform Module. Yeah, it's called as TPM. Chips.
TPM, yeah.
Yeah, TPM. So there's a chip on your motherboard that will be kind of a security module storing the password. Even before you boot your machine or you press the power button, it asks for a password. And then the boarding password starts, and then the control alt delete. That's the final step. So anyways, you're digressing a lot into security. So what is that? Okay. All right. So what kind of security do you want to use? A hardware based or key management by Amazon, or you don't want to use it? In which VPC do you want to host this guy? I have only one VPC, it seems, the default one in North Virginia. Are you sure? I thought I had more. Let's give it a shot. Okay. All right, come on. Oh, we've got so many of them. Why does it show just that one? This identifier D9. D9. Yeah, the default VPC. Okay. Anyways, keep moving. In which subnet group you want to put that? Do you want to do publicly accessible? Do you have a public IP? The difference between this and this is that public IP that you will get will be automatic here. But if you have an elastic IP, you can choose that, by selecting this. But since I don't have a elastic IP, I'll select no. Enhanced VPC routing, I'll just leave that the way it is. Availability zone, I can put them in one of those availability zones. Of course, since I'm putting in a VPC, I would like to put it behind a firewall or a security group. So I can select one of these. So just remember 3D. I'll just make a note of it. EC3D, EC3D, and you gotta go back there and open up the ports from that front. Anyways, do we need a CloudWatch alarm? Yes or no? You can set up all those thresholds. When that goes, you'll get emails. That's not new to you. So I'll just say continue now, right? All right. So as a review, what you selected, that's the name of the database. That's the name of the identifier. That's the name of the database. The port number that we're using is 5439, and number of nodes is 2. Username is root admin. That's how it is. I did not select anything on the CloudWatch. That's the VPC in which it is hosted. That's all about it. So it is about the cost now. Says that on demand hourly rate is that, but if you are eligible for a free tier, you will receive 750 hours of free usage of each month of the trial, applied across all running DC1 large instances. So if you are running DC1 large, that's when you get it for free. Anything more than that, you'll be ripped off on the credit card. Okay. I'll click on launch cluster now. Okay. That's in progress. Say close. That's it. It will take a while. It will take a while. So you can take a step back, relax, stretch the fingers and hands, and do some meditation. It should be done by then. But we don't have so much time to relax and meditate, so we'll do something else. Now that the database is created, we got to have some way to access it. Just like the way you did Postgres. You created Postgres on the cloud. You're using client for pgadmin 3 to connect. You saw DynamoDB. That was you were able to connect with certain APIs. Microsoft SQL, I showed that to you yesterday. You would be able to connect to the SQL, which is stored somewhere in the cloud, and then you can connect with SQL client, which is installed on your laptop. Redshift also has several fans. A lot of fans have created their own front-end mechanism to query, control, manage, update the database. One of those mechanisms is there in the documentation. So what's that? It's called that jackdb.com. Okay. So I'll go to jackdb.com. All right, and I'll say login. You may have to sign up, and I log in with I don't remember. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if that works out. Okay, I do. Okay, great. So I got connected because I'm already logged in. But for you, you gotta create a new account here. And regardless whether you create a new account or you're an existing user, you'll still have this database, which is JackDB demo, read only. And it's just a demo database which they have created for us, for you to play around and practice, and it's just read only for that matter, right? You don't have nothing to do, cannot play around and uh, modify anything here. But if you can want to play around, you can play around this. Look at that and do something. What are the tables? Actor is a table. So let's say write a query here, select where's my query? Can't. Okay. Select star from actor and say execute. So we'll get something, yeah. Guinness, Penelope, somebody change that. So it's got its own sample database which is here, yeah. But we are least interested about Postgres database, which is read only. We need to have something where I can connect to my database which I created in the cloud, my Amazon, right? So how do I do that? Let's go back. Okay, there's a button here which says add your database, add a database source. By the way, when you create an account, you get a 14-day trial. You can play around with this just for 14 days. And what do you do after 14 days? Create another account, right? So right. So I got access to all of these: Amazon Aurora, Amazon Redshift, MySQL, Postgres, Bandhavi. You don't need a jump host now. You don't need a Windows jump host to connect to Postgres, but you will need that because it's privately accessible. It's not publicly accessible. If you want JackDB to connect to PostgreSQL, you got to make your PostgreSQL public. But since that is private, the only option you have is to connect to the Windows host, right? Right. So anything that is public can go from here. But the one that really interests me is, not that. Really interests me is this one, Redshift, right? Let's fill up this form and see if we can connect. But let's go back to Redshift and see if it's created. No. It's taking its own sweet little time. Creating unknown, right. Well, you know what? Let's talk more. What we have to do here, where's our friend? Painter, yeah, okay. Okay, so what we have to do is, okay, that is your Redshift, which has empty data. Where is data? How do you represent data? Like this. That is an empty database. Now you have to query, let's say this is JackDB. You have to query the database like this. You want to fetch certain information which is from the external world, but you already have something like a bucket. Where is that? Is there a bucket? Yeah, this one. This is a bucket. Okay. Yeah, this one's a bucket. There's a bucket that's externally available. Yeah, Amazon gave it to us. I don't know where it is, but it's there in the Amazon documentation. Amazon says that if you want to play around with Redshift, and if you're looking for dummy data, it's there in this bucket. Just copy and paste this information into this bucket or import it, right? Into where? Into our bucket or into Redshift. So what we have to do is give, or maybe create a user account that has permissions to upload, query, read, get, put, whatever into Redshift, right? This is available. This guy is available or publicly available on the internet. I want to put this into the database. And I can only do it if I have an account, right? Well, let's go ahead and create that account. Does that make sense? I'm switching through so many screens here and then sometimes deviating from the topic as well, talking about this security stuff and going back to database, Postgres, and then I hope you're following me. I don't want to confuse anybody. If you're not following, please let me know. I'll repeat everything.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Bandhavi, you okay as well?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's what we want to do. But our buddy, this guy is ready. But let's get that IAM thing done. So I'll quickly navigate to IAM and create a user, right? Create a user, add a user, give it a name, and say the Redshift admin, right? And I will give it a programmatic access, right? Because it doesn't need console, right? It doesn't have to be a console. Why does it need to log in, right? Permissions. The kind of permissions that I would like to give him is let's get Redshift. Yeah. I want to make him Redshift full access, right? Next. That's it. So this username will have programmatic access to Redshift. Create user. Okay. Done, right? Nothing rocket science. I'll ask it to show and also download just in case. And also open that and keep it ready. Now I'll go back to Redshift and this guy is ready. And he has an endpoint as well. Okay. There's an endpoint as well like this. Yeah. And then there's a port number. That's good. Let's try to put that in our friend JackDB and say Redshift dbase feb, something like that. And database server is that. It works on 5439. It knows about it. What is the database name? Where do you see that? This is a cluster name. That's not what we want. Is that what you want? No. No. What a
Shift prod PROD.
yeah. Where is that? Yeah, database name. Okay. That's it. Okay. Alright. Root admin. The password is okay. That's it. Great. Let's see if it okay. It's created. It's not something dummy. If it's not able to connect, it will fail right there. Will it? Well, you know what? Let's go back to security groups and see what we have. Does it already have 5439 open? We did not do that as far as I remember, but which security group am I using? Let's click on this. It's using that, one of these security groups, right? See, where am I clicking on? Here. It's not openly available. It does. Okay, it's available here as well, but I can check that. Okay. Inbound 5439. Inbound. This one doesn't have, so it doesn't need it. Oh, it has. Okay, 5439. But that's why I was able to connect. Just in case you want to narrow down the problem, narrow down what? Network issues. You know what to do. You can do this, and yeah, happy. And that's how our friend JackDB was able to connect to it. That's awesome. Okay. So let's see. Let's go back. See if we can find something. Profile, JackDB. I'll go back to JackDB. Yeah, Redshift, that's ready as well. Let's click on it. And on the left side, you see all those objects, schema and everything, right? It's an empty database. There's no tables, no data, no content, nothing. In your documentation, you will find that I've written certain codes here. Let's go ahead and create a table called users with the following columns, where there's a first column called user ID. The value must be an integer, that means it must be a number, and it should not be null. Did you do databases in your curriculum, in your school, what we call it, university?
Yeah.
Databases. Everybody? Is it a unanimous yes?
Yeah.
Databases. Must be there, right? Some basics of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vivek? Ritvika? Bandhi?
Yes, sir. Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So you know what that is. You know better than me on this one. I'm not a database guy at all. Okay, but still I managed to do certain things. Recently we picked up a project to create a Android application, and yesterday you saw that, right? About the SQL thing and all that. The client wanted to create a database, and they sent me a dummy data, and I tapped that in. So, anyways. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's go back. Redshift. So I'll copy here, and if I execute this, it should create something. I'm expecting a user to be created with the following columns. It should not have any data yet. So I'll go to SQL. I find that. Okay. So in order to see the content of those tables, I'll say select star from users, isn't it? And I'll execute just that part. It's taking a couple of seconds. Okay, it's created successfully. But you know what? You granted me permissions. You are a company. You granted me as a new employee. I'm a new employee in your company. And you gave me certain permissions to play around with the database. And you want to know what's going on. What kind of queries am I running? It should be saved somewhere, right? I can be dropping tables. I can be inserting, modifying the schema, doing triggers, joins, vectors, whatever. I'm doing a lot of things in the database. And you as a manager or IT lead architect on the databases front want to know what I'm doing. And there should be a provision somewhere here that tells me what this guy is doing. So click on queries and you will see what I ran. Okay, so while that is running, alright, something happened. Well, this is not what I was expecting. Let's click on 45 query. Okay, something happened. It doesn't tell me, right, which query I ran. It doesn't tell me which query I was running. Okay, I'm looking for specific query. I want to see select star from users. I want to see create table users, all that story. I want to see all of that here. But I want to know what you are running, right? Let's see. Well, while that is running, let's give it some time and go back to this place and import the sample data into the Redshift database. Okay. All right. So, like I said, the sample data is in S3. That's in Amazon's S3, right? And I want to import that into where? Redshift. And how do you comment it? Like this? Is that comment? Or like this? Anyways.
Yeah. Forward slashes.
Like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and import it, and that is also here. You can copy all of that, and I'll copy all of this and go to my Redshift. No, go to my here and copy and paste that. So what I want to do, I want to copy users from this file. Credentials, put the access key and the secret access ID. So I'll go back to my Excel sheet which was generated from IAM, copy the access key ID, and I want to paste it here. Okay. And then the secret access key is also there here. Okay. And I'll paste that. Okay. Let me run it and see what happens. Okay. Done. Unable to execute. Something wrong. Okay. Alright. The problem is that. Is there a problem? No. Yeah. Actually, no. Text. There's a quote here. The quote is closed. The quote is closed. Everything is good. So the bucket you're attempting to access must be addressed using a specific endpoint. Where is the endpoint? Oh, okay. The problem is that this information is in West. It is in West. See, bus AWS sample database, DB's database, and it is US West 2. Whereas I'm trying to upload in US-East-1. Okay, so I'll remove this, and this is what US-East-1 means. We'll run it again. Again, some problem. So what I will do is copy all of this and go to the documentation of these guys, and let's look at the exact link. Okay, some problem. All right. So if you're in West, you copy that, and they have documented everything here. Let's see. What's that? Yeah, all of it is West 2 because they are connecting to Ohio. But I want to link for North Virginia. Redshift, sample DB, North Virginia. Okay, let's see. Okay. What is that? Creating the sample, upload the files to an S3 bucket. Oregon. Taking Oregon example. Access denied. You know why? It should also have permissions to S3. It should also have permission to S3, I believe. So if you go back, you know what? I'll go here and say I'll give him permissions to S3 access.
I think we need to replace West 2 with East 1.
East one? You have it in the documentation?
No, I'm just guessing.
Okay, okay,
Because
okay. No problem. Okay. Okay. I'll run it one more time and see what happens. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, it's doing a lot of stuff. Okay, it's doing something. Okay. Otherwise, I would have got access denied or some error message by now. It's taking 18, 20. It's doing something, okay? So it executed successfully, right? And I will run this command again, select star from users, where I should get the whole bulk of that information. Awesome. So all of this is stored in my Redshift database. The problem was with the permissions, okay? I gave him S3 access as well. So it is copying from S3 to my S3 and then uploading it to Redshift. Okay.
okay.
There are some more commands as well. You can run where like this. Where clauses you can read. It's no different from database now. You get only true like sports. All of them will be T. Yeah, all of these are T. Okay. Let's go back to Redshift and see what do you see in the queries. I should be able to see all. Oh, okay. Now it kicked up something. All of these are completed. See, this got terminated. Two of these error messages that we got twice when we tried to copy, but the third time it got successfully uploaded. This guy took 149 milliseconds to give me error message, 290 milliseconds to give me error message again. This one 5.3 milliseconds, not milli, 5.3 seconds to upload all of that information. And next time when you're querying, which is select star from, etc. Users. So all of that is stored here. That way you can granularly check who's running what command. And this is not only from the user but also from the applications. You can see which application or through which application a query is being sent and how much time it is taking to retrieve send information. You can check the live performance of Redshift by going to the performance click, and then it gives you the performance of those. Not just that, you can see performance of each of those queries as well. So when you click on this query, you can see how much CPU did it utilize, how much network throughput did it take, etc. So you can go into those and take a look at them. So for that particular query, it took, for example here, it took like whatever 1.5 MB per second was the network throughput. CPU utilization was 30% at that moment. Okay. You can also take snapshots of these. Right now you don't have any snapshots, but you can just create a snapshot, give it a name. So just in case you want to modify anything before, and you can always revert back to the snapshot at any point in time. Security is tied up with your certificates. HSM is hardware based, but you're not using any hardware based security. Reserved nodes. So if you don't want to use with reserved nodes is like dedicated. You're not using any default instances or tenant or using multi-tenancy here. Events, just like your event viewer, what happened at what time, all of that things showing here. Snapshot was created. Or if you want a third-party application, now I'm using this application. which is JackDB. But if you want a third-party application which can connect to the JDBC driver or ODBC driver, you can download that and then use it from there as well. Okay. Does it make sense? Or is it all difficult?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
This is nothing but big data that people call it as big data and analyzing data in the cloud and things like that. So it's got two of these compute nodes. Each one of them have their own public IP. This one has leader IP. So this is connecting to this leader IP. In the background, we have these two nodes which have equal information. You can put them in different availability zones for disaster recovery purposes. Any questions? How's your schedule tomorrow? You gonna take an off for the weekend?
Yeah, so yeah, we'll get some room.
Okay. So yeah, because we got just one class remaining, maximum two, just a couple of hours, and we should be done for AWS. So we'll do that on Monday. What that means is that you gotta breathe in some AWS and breathe out some AWS during the weekend. That way, you're gonna make my life tougher on Monday for whatever time it takes. But that doesn't mean that we'll be off forever after Monday. You can always get in touch with me. You got my email addresses now. Few people have my phone number as well. So I don't mind you dropping me an email if you got any questions. I've always supported. I would like you to see and excel in your career in whatever path you want. You want any other support, I'll be very happy to do that. Well, why am I speaking as if it's the last class? We still have the class on Monday, but what I intend to say is that go back and spend some time with AWS on Saturday and Sunday. Don't kill yourself. Couple of hours is enough. 3 hours, 2 hours is enough. And take a break and have fun. All right.
All right, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll upload this video.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
And yeah, yesterday's as well.
Yesterday recording was done by Srinivas. So it should be there on his machine. What was the topic yesterday? I don't remember.
Elastic
Elastic Cache.
Yeah, Elasticache. Elasticache? Sure. No. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Elastic.
Elasticache? Okay. Okay. I have a volatile memory. It just evaporates. Okay. Yeah, Elasticache. So yeah, I'll see if I have it. And I think it was recorded by Srinivas, but I don't want to throw the balls in the court here and there. I'll contact Srinivas and get that uploaded. Okay.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.